What's up, everybody? This is Brian here to tell you about our podcast, Bingetown TV. Our hosts include 7 best friends with a love for all things television. We cover a range of genres with a focus on fantasy and sci-fi, but also dip our feet into drama, horror, comedy, and pretty much anything we think is good television. We use the traditional deep dive formula for new live shows that are released week to week, but our calling card is our Rooks and Vets and Pitchtown TV series. Rooks and Vets pairs 2 of our hosts that have seen a show with 2 of our hosts that have not seen a show. Pitchtown TV is when we have a special guest pitch us a show by having us watch the pilot and trying to convince us to watch the rest. If you're craving more content on some of your favorite TV shows, then you should listen to Bingetown TV. Find us on our website at bingetowntv.com, the Apple Podcast app, Spotify, or wherever else you may find your podcast.
Meanwhile, in New Jersey...
So, Marissa, what talking points do you want to hit on in this week's episode?
Well, Jackie, let's talk about how the film addresses the patriarchy. Ooh, and representation of marginalized people. Ooh, and even philosophical ramifications of good versus evil in horror.
We can point out the triangle boobs, talk about the blood splatter, and the practical effects. And also the male gaze?
My gaze at the males.
Hi-yo! From feminism to fangirling, the Jersey Ghouls cover all the bases of horror from a woman's perspective.
New episodes are uploaded every other Sunday.
Just search Jersey Ghouls to find us on social media and your favorite podcasting app.
Well, there's a party each and every year on Christmas Eve, where the fun and cocktail shrimp don't seem to end. Clark and Ralphie taking turns on the TV screen, laughing, singing, yelling with all of our friends. Well, it's Christmas, and everybody's gonna spread the holiday cheer, 'cause it's Christmas. Oh, it's the best time of the year. Let's do fake rain.
Hey, Dylan.
Hey, Matt.
USA! USA! USA!
Sure, man.
Welcome.
Sure.
It is Olympics time. It's the Summer Olympics time. Dylan, real
Yeah.
quick.
Yes.
I looked this up the other day
Okay.
because I'm a Winter Olympics over Summer Olympics guy normally.
Same.
I got curious
Yeah.
and I looked up what the list of winter games are.
Okay.
Just to kind of remind myself. I'm like, all right, what are the games that get played?
This is the winter list?
No, this is the summer list.
Okay, you're going to give us a summer list. Okay.
So there's aquatics, like there's swimming, diving, all of that stuff. There's archery, there's badminton, there's basketball, both regular and 3-on-3. There is boxing.
There is
boxing.
boxing,
is
okay.
part of it. This year, for the
So
first
these are
time,
all games that are happening this year.
this year in 2024,
Okay.
this year for the first year, breakdancing. Breakdancing is going to be one of the Olympic
the
sports.
fuck up.
Dead serious.
That's not
Breakdancing,
real.
canoeing, cycling, fencing, field hockey, football, golf, gymnastics, handball, judo, rowing, rugby, sailing, shooting, skateboarding. This is the second year skateboarding is an official
Yeah, that's
Olympic
fucking
sport.
dope.
Sport climbing, surfing, table tennis, taekwondo, and then volleyball and wrestling and weightlifting. But that I'm tuning in for the skateboarding and the breakdancing competition. I don't even care if I'm at San Diego Comic-Con. I will stream that shit on my phone to watch those sports in real time.
I'm on the official Olympics website looking at the description for breaking is what they're calling it. Breaking is an urban dance style that originated in the United States in the 1970s.
See?
I love that. I feel like the United States was like, we got to get something that we created in there.
But anyway, we talked about this. People heard us playing this in real time. Yeah, we were like, wait, is Rocky IV a Christmas movie or is it just snowy because it's Russia? But the final act is on Christmas Day, so
All
we're
on
going to say
Christmas
it
Day.
counts.
Yeah. I will say, save for a song, this has about as much to do with Christmas as Scream does.
Yeah, no, this is a real stretch, but whatever. We're having fun with it. This is one of those
it's
movies.
fucking great.
This is one of those movies that well, that's the thing, right? This is arguably a very good, very iconic bad movie. Like the
Yes.
plots.
Yes.
The plot of this movie is outrageous.
This movie, okay. I just want to say, I'm coming at this from the perspective of I have not seen this movie since I was probably 10.
Okay.
I don't remember anything about it except for what everyone remembers about it. The iconic Drago lines, the fact that Apollo gets killed. Like, I remember that stuff. Okay? This movie is horrendous.
Yeah. Oh, here's the
This
thing.
movie is so fucking bad.
I've pretty much only watched the Rocky movies once. With like
I feel
very
like me too as a kid, but
but this was always on. Like I've seen scenes from Rocky
Yeah.
4 more than any
Yes.
other film because it was
Yep.
always on like USA or TNT.
Yep, agreed.
It's also, I think, the shortest one. It's like this and Part 3 are like easy breezy 90-minute movies and they fucking move.
Dude, I'm gonna be completely honest. Like, as I was going to bed last night, I was like, fuck, I gotta watch Rocky 4. Am I gonna be able to fit it in?
Yeah.
Because I'm so used to like the Creed movies now.
Yeah.
And those, I feel like those things are like 2 hours long. I could be wrong. I just feel like every movie is like 2.5 hours long.
No, but
nowadays.
91 minutes, baby.
91
Oh.
minutes, cruising. But also it only being 91 minutes, I feel like it proves how much of a nothing burger this movie actually
this
is.
movie
Nothing
is
happens. Like
this movie is, to break it into a 3-act structure for the people
Yeah.
listening who maybe have never seen it. Act 1 is Paulie gets a robot and Apollo Creed dies in a fight.
Yep.
Act 2 is montage training sequence after montage training
Dude,
sequence.
there's multiple. There's like 3.
And then Act 3 is the final fight between Rocky and Drago. Like, there is so little actual character development happening here. And when I mentioned, I feel like this needs to be mentioned. This robot is not a throwaway bit in the beginning of the movie. This
I
robot,
thought it was. I was like, this robot's never coming back. This robot has almost as much screen time as Paulie himself.
Yeah.
Like,
no,
this
they're
robot
inseparable. He
is-
loves Paulie.
Oh my god. Number one, how did I not know that this robot was in this movie?
Yeah.
Like, what I don't understand. Why is this not something everyone talks about as much as they talk about the Drago
punchline
lines?
lyric, right? Like,
Yeah.
I sent you that punchline lyric where they said, like, robots in Rocky 4, you don't make sense anymore.
Yeah,
Like-
but I feel like it's I've heard it in like throwaway passing, but everyone knows about the moments I've already talked about. I feel like no one talks about this weird fucking
Look,
robot.
Let's tie this back to Christmas for a split second.
Yeah.
After rewatching Rocky 4, I am confident Wafflebot in A Very Harold and Kumar
Is a
Christmas
throwback to that.
is a throwback to this robot that Paulie gets.
Yeah.
Because it
That's
says all
fucking
the
wild.
same stuff. It's like, I love you, Paulie. Like,
I love you, Kumar.
yeah, I think he literally offers to make him waffles at one point in this movie. Like,
It's gotta be. It's why is this a thing? And why is no one talking about it? This movie is absolutely fucking insane.
because here's the big thing, and this is how I think we got on this conversation. Was
Yeah.
I was talking about how I had just read that book, The Last Action Heroes, about like the 80s action movie boom.
Yeah.
And this was like definitively where Sylvester Stallone, no one could talk to him out of ideas. He is the writer, director, and star of this movie. So like, I wouldn't even be shocked if he was also firmly in the editing chair at the time that he's making this movie. Like, I'm sure that no one had the guts to say, this robot is stupid. Like,
So-
don't do this.
Funny enough, 3 years ago, for the movie's 35th anniversary, they re-released this. Sylvester Stallone went in and recut it as a director's cut and took the robot out of the movie.
How is that even possible? The robot's in so much of it.
I know, dude. I know it's a big thing. I haven't watched the director's cut. Obviously, I just said that. have watched this for the first time since I was 10, but now I feel like I need to watch it.
Okay.
But apparently it was a big thing. It was put back into theaters and everything a few years ago, 2020.
I'm going to read a crazy sentence for you.
Okay.
Paulie's Robot, a character that throughout the years has enjoyed a cult following of his own, was created by International Robotics Incorporated in New York City. Skip this. It toured with James Brown in the 80s. The robot was written into the movie after it had been used to help Stallone's autistic son. So this was like, this robot was like helping his son, and he's like, I love this robot. I'm going to write it into the movie. But now it makes me feel more weird that he's cutting the robot out of the movie in retrospect.
Yeah, that is weird. But then that also leads me to my next thought. Why aren't more of these fucking robots roaming around right now?
Yeah.
Like, why? That's my future. Like, this is a thing that exists. I swore that Stallone was like, I don't know, give him a fucking robot. Rocky's rich now. Like, like Rocky can afford a robot. Stallone, that thing doesn't exist. I'll fucking make it exist, man. And then, like, he builds the fucking robot for the movie. But this was a real thing.
Yeah, apparently.
I know that this robot ended up in some nightclub with LeBron James at some point. We're not going to go over that story, but that is a story for the future discussion that we may have.
What's up, everybody? This is Brian here to tell you about our podcast, Bingetown TV. Our hosts include 7 best friends with a love for all things television. We cover a range of genres with a focus on fantasy and sci-fi, but also dip our feet into drama, horror, comedy, and pretty much anything we think is good television. We use the traditional deep dive formula for new live shows that are released week to week, but our calling card is our Rooks and Vets and Pitchtown TV series. Rooks and Vets pairs 2 of our hosts that have seen a show with 2 of our hosts that have not seen a show. Pitchtown TV is when we have a special guest pitch us a show by having us watch the pilot and trying to convince us to watch the rest. If you're craving more content on some of your favorite TV shows, then you should listen to Bingetown TV. Find us on our website at bingetowntv.com, the Apple Podcast app, Spotify, or wherever else you may find your podcast.
Meanwhile, in New Jersey...
So, Marissa, what talking points do you want to hit on in this week's episode?
Well, Jackie, let's talk about how the film addresses the patriarchy. Ooh, and representation of marginalized people. Ooh, and even philosophical ramifications of good versus evil in horror.
We can point out the triangle boobs, talk about the blood splatter, and the practical effects. And also the male gaze.
My gaze at the males.
Hi-oh! From feminism to fangirling, the Jersey Ghouls cover all the bases of horror from a woman's perspective.
New episodes are uploaded every other Sunday.
Just search Jersey Ghouls to find us on social media and your favorite podcasting app.
Put down that smartphone and listen to me. I'm Matthew Milligan, professional musician and lifelong Weird Al fan. Each week, I'm joined by professional podcaster and close personal friend Matt Kelly to take a dive off the deep end into the vast career of pop culture icon Weird Al Yankovic on our show, Weird Algorithm. Along with some very special guests from the worlds of music and comedy, we tackle every song, every television appearance, and every bit of sketch comedy Al has produced in chronological order, covering the good old days of My Bologna and Eat It, the fun zone of tacky and white and nerdy, and everything in between. As we go, we're ranking the songs, albums, and music videos in the hopes of creating the ultimate guide to a career bigger than the biggest ball of twine in Minnesota. So the next time you're having one of those days, stuck in a traffic jam, wondering why does this always happen to me, just kick off your sneakers and stick around for a while because we've got it all on Weird Algorithm, available wherever you get your podcasts. And now you know. Was that enough references?
I mentioned him. Let's jump into it because it's in the first act. I thought it took so much longer to get here. Apollo Creed's over-the-top patriotic entrance with James Brown singing Living in America, all that shit. Like, no wonder. You sent the exact note that I had written down. No wonder Drago just wants to kill this silly son of a bitch. Like,
he has been... Okay, so backing up just a tiny bit, I will say that dude was so happy to be in the pool playing with his 3 golden retrievers. He was living the fucking dream. And just because he had to have that TV sitting next to him and seeing Ivan Drago on it, this is, guys, appreciate what you have. Life's too short, so love the one you got.
Yeah.
Right? Like, be happy about what you have. Because this guy just sits there is like, all right, you know what? Fuck this new guy. But honestly, we had 2 movies that was explaining that Apollo Creed is old news now.
Yeah.
Like why is he now all of a sudden, like, 5 years later, I'm gonna get back in the ring
Dylan.
with that fucking guy.
Dylan.
Yeah.
Dylan.
Yeah.
Dylan.
Yeah.
I don't know what the date will be when this comes out,
Oh
but
my
let us
God,
not
that's
forget that there's a
right.
Mike Tyson versus one of the Pauls coming up very soon.
That's gotta be this month, I think. We should put this out for that. like, why is it? That's a perfect release for that, man.
But like that isn't like and don't get me wrong, I still think that Tyson is going to absolutely destroy.
Yes, Jake Paul is not Ivan Drago. Like,
but it is still like he is out. No, it's not until November.
November, damn! I thought it
But
was
like
a summer thing.
that is still like Tyson is kind of old news. Like he's remained
Oh yeah,
famous, but like as a boxer, he's not like
yeah. But then they get to the press conference, and still the Russians are just kind of hanging out there. They're just kind of sitting there, and Apollo's like, "I'm gonna beat this motherfucker's ass in front of all of you and show you why the United States is the best. Ain't that right, Rock?" And Rocky's like, "You sure?" Like, he's like, "That's right. You Russian motherfuckers, I'm gonna stomp every single one of you into the dirt." And the Russians are just kind of sitting there like, who the fuck is this old man? Please somebody lock him up because he's insane. He's absolutely insane. But it was that moment that I texted you and was like, I get where Ivan's coming from.
Yeah.
So we go to what has to be the most expensive production ever paid for an exhibition fight.
Oh,
As
for
what you have
sure.
mentioned already, Apollo Creed is coming down in front of a giant golden bull, okay, that the bull then, as a robot, like it's a machine, it breaks apart because that's what Ivan's known as the something bull, the Soviet bull, is that what it is?
Sure. Well,
something
we'll
like
go
that.
with
So as he's coming down, fucking James Brown is there with a ton of backup dancers singing Living in America. Fucking Apollo Creed in his Uncle Sam outfit jumps in there, is dancing, like just dancing in Ivan Drago's face.
Yeah.
Which even if Apollo Creed is like cocky and confident, dude, you're about to get into a fist fight with a man.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? You're really wasting a lot of energy, number one. Number two, you look like a dumbass. And as soon as the bell rang, Ivan Drago made that point.
Yeah.
But I will say, at least 4 people should have been brought up on manslaughter charges once he was considered dead.
Oh, for sure.
Ivan Drago takes the ref and pushes him out of the fucking way and
Yeah.
just keeps pummeling his fucking face. So, number one, the ref is definitely at cause. Ivan Drago stops being a professional athlete once that happens. Rocky, sorry, I don't think this movie played on the fact that he didn't throw in the towel enough.
Nope.
I feel like that gets brought up a little, like, don't throw in the towel no matter what. Okay, so if the movie would have focused on that, would have, like, kept pulling back to that, like him coming to terms with the fact that he didn't pull the trigger, I would say good note. But since it didn't keep going back to that, there's no reason he didn't throw in that towel to stop the fight.
No, none.
But yeah, like literally maybe 15 minutes into this movie, Apollo Creed dead.
Boom. X's on his eyes.
Yes.
He's done. And then, like I said, shortly after that, just musical montage city for like 25 minutes.
Weird. It's really weird how quickly we go from Apollo Creed's funeral to, all right, this fight is happening.
Here's
Like,
my favorite
there's
no
scene
in the whole movie.
Mourning at all. It's just like or that.
I need to talk about this because
Go for it.
my favorite part in this movie, and it's look, I know this movie starts with Eye of the Tiger,
Yeah.
but the best song in the whole movie is No Easy Way Out by Robert Tepper.
100%. Yeah.
And it's just Rocky driving and literally replaying scenes that happened 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Like, it is such a waste of a montage, but I love it so much.
Yeah. It's so good. Of course, Trey Parker and Matt Stone used it once in South Park.
Yeah.
But then it also transfers to Two Princes once Randy puts on his beanie, which is fucking great because go spin doctors.
Hell yeah. But yeah, it's like you get that. You get Burning Hearts plays as well. Like, it's just song after song. And then I guess this is like the positive and negative. The movie moves so quickly that when we get to the third act where it is the fight between Rocky and Drago, in my brain I thought there's got to be like 5 minutes left in this movie, but it's actually a pretty long
It's a
third
pretty
act
big
fight.
chunk. I'm going to like boxing, especially in the 80s movies, was so weird to me.
Yes.
Because it's literally like one person just getting hit in the face 40 times and not falling down. And solid jabs, solid punches. And I'm so glad we're at a point where boxing in movies is being shot better. I think it's no contest that the Creed movies are better than the early Rocky movies. At least.
Listen, I am firmly of the mindset, and I know that this is controversial because, the first Rocky movie is considered like this one of the 200 greatest films ever made level masterpiece. For me, Rocky is at its best in parts 3 and 4 when it is just absolute schlock B movie. You know what I mean? Like, give me Thunder Lips, give me Mr. T. That is who I want Rocky fighting. And give me Drago. Like, Drago is a great villain too.
Is it weird for me to say, as somebody who always rallies against movies being longer, that I feel like this movie could have used an extra 20 minutes of Drago?
Well, because it didn't do anything for anybody.
It didn't. I don't know anything about any of these characters.
Yeah, like
at all, except
he's just
for Rocky.
an anonymously evil Russian character with no backstory.
Which sucks because I feel like there's something there. There's definitely something there. I love the relationship between him and his wife. Like, there is a love there. Like, you notice he picks up the Russian prime minister dude. And she tells him to put him down, so he puts him down. I want to know more about that. I want to know more about that relationship.
It's a lot of issues. And I feel like it's because Sylvester Stallone doesn't care. Like, in his mind, he's just he's Russian. All Russians are evil, and Rocky's going to win this fight and save democracy by giving a speech.
Which is wild because I feel like at the end, I felt like that little speech was the opposite of that. That is we can love each other. It doesn't matter if you're Russian and we're the U.S. But deep down, that's that white guilt.
Yeah.
I know we're talking about Russians, but that's what that is, right?
Yeah.
That shit where you're like, oh, I do feel bad. But when somebody actually tells you, hey, care. No. That's how these
I don't have time to
feel.
care. What are you, crazy?
But yeah, I really feel like for a movie that has so many characters ingrained in the pop culture zeitgeist, because I will say, we got Ivan Drago, of course, but I mean, Bridget Nielsen, this was that role too. I mean, so it's wild to me how little they make an impact in this movie as a whole, but it's just wild what we as a society latch onto.
Yeah, I mean, look.
But again, I guess at the time this movie was coming out and everything too. I don't know.
Yeah,
go for it.
It makes sense. Well, you know what, Dylan?
Yeah,
I'm gonna get you a robot for Christmas this year.
Oh my God! I'm on a robot. I'm gonna get a robot. We're getting a robot.
Oh, whoa, oh, now we won't stop till the big ball drops on New Year's. Happy holiday, have a great holiday, have a merry happy holiday.
What's up, everybody? This is Brian here to tell you about our podcast, Bingetown TV. Our hosts include 7 best friends with a love for all things television. We cover a range of genres with a focus on fantasy and sci-fi, but also dip our feet into drama, horror, comedy, and pretty much anything we think is good television. We use the traditional deep dive formula for new live shows that are released week to week, but our calling card is our Rooks and Vets and Pitchtown TV series. Rooks and Vets pairs 2 of our hosts that have seen a show with 2 of our hosts that have not seen a show. Pitchtown TV is when we have a special guest pitch us a show by having us watch the pilot and trying to convince us to watch the rest. If you're craving more content on some of your favorite TV shows, then you should listen to Bingetown TV. Find us on our website at bingetowntv.com, the Apple Podcast app, Spotify, or wherever else you may find your podcast.
Meanwhile, in New Jersey...
So, Marissa, what talking points do you want to hit on in this week's episode?
Well, Jackie, let's talk about how the film addresses the patriarchy. Ooh, and representation of marginalized people. Ooh, and even philosophical ramifications of good versus evil in horror.
We can point out the triangle boobs, talk about the blood splatter, and the practical effects. And also the male gaze.
My gaze at the males.
Hi-yo! From feminism to fangirling, the Jersey Ghouls cover all the bases of horror from a woman's perspective.
New episodes are uploaded every other Sunday.
Just search Jersey Ghouls to find us on social media and your favorite podcasting app.
You're listening to the Geekscape Network.